Rangers find themselves in the spotlight once again as major questions hang over Russell Martin's future. With growing unrest among supporters and pressure mounting behind the scenes, Chairman Andrew Cavenagh is preparing to step in. His arrival could mark a decisive moment for the club, as speculation continues to swirl around the manager's position. Let's break this down in today's video, along with all the other Rangers news from the last 24 hours. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. But first, Philippe Clement has revealed he won't reflect on his dismissal from Rangers in the public eye because it is simply too delicate to discuss. The former Ibrox boss was quizzed on his exit from Rangers in an interview with Belgian outlet GVA, but refused to be drawn on the topic. It's too delicate to talk about, that's the agreement, Clement said after shifting uncomfortably when the interview turned to being relieved of his duties. Clement was appointed as Rangers boss in October 2023 when he succeeded Michael Beale in the role. He was sacked in February 2025 with the club 13 points behind Celtic and after defeats to Queen's Park and St Mirren. I sometimes find it hard to put it out of my mind because the circumstances in which something like this happens aren't always known to the outside world, and that's why it's hard for me to call it dismissal, Clement said on the nature of being sacked at Rangers and AS Monaco. The former Ibrox boss, though, is confident he is still held in high regard both in Glasgow and Monaco for his work in the dugout. He added, "The trick is to look past it. I may have joined those clubs at the wrong time, but I'm still well liked in Monaco and Glasgow because they know the work I've done." Clement is keen to return to the dugout in the near future and is confident he will receive offers. However, he will not be back in a job for another 2 or 3 weeks due to recovering from hip surgery. He said, "I'm not ready yet, and I'm talking about that hip surgery. I've only been walking without crutches since last week. It won't be for another 2 or 3 weeks before I'm ready to get back into it, and something will come up, I'm sure of that. I also want to keep working abroad. New adventures, new cultures, a certain way of working. I like Belgium, but I was really captivated in Monaco and Glasgow, and I want to keep gaining experience. Not even as a national coach or anything like that. I still want to be on that pitch, working with the players every day. I still love doing that." Now in some huge Martin sack news, Rangers chairman Andrew Cavenagh is set to fly into Glasgow from the United States as the Ibrox crisis deepens, with the American poised to take full control of the situation. Manager Russell Martin is already under intense pressure, despite being only weeks into the job after a miserable winless start to the Premiership campaign. The slump has left Rangers languishing in 10th place, and Saturday's defeat to Hearts has ignited fury among supporters. For many, it was the breaking point. Fans vented their frustration directly at Martin, while the Union Bears announced plans for a fresh protest ahead of the looming Premier Sports Cup clash with Hibs. Tensions are already running high behind the scenes. The Rangers Fan Advisory Board recently clashed with Chief Executive Patrick Stewart and Sporting Director Kevin Thelwell, openly challenging their decision to stand by Martin in the face of such a bleak run. Now, with Cavenagh preparing to land in Scotland today, the chairman, who jointly owns the club with 49ers Enterprises, appears ready to confront the storm head-on. All eyes now turn to Easter Road. Defeat against Hibs could be the trigger that forces the hierarchy, or Cavenagh himself, to break their silence on Martin's future, one way or another. Rangers now find themselves at a critical crossroads, with fan anger reaching boiling point and results on the pitch failing to inspire. The pressure on Russell Martin is relentless. Andrew Cavanagh's arrival signals that the club's American ownership can no longer watch from afar. They must act. Whether that means backing their under-fire manager or making a decisive change, the coming days could define not just Martin's future, but the direction of Rangers' entire season. In other news, the pressure is mounting at Ibrox, and talk of a potential Steven Gerrard return refuses to go away. Russell Martin was brought in over the summer to steady the ship, but his tenure has quickly descended into crisis. The former Swansea and Southampton boss has overseen a nightmare start to life in Glasgow, Rangers are without a win in 5 Premiership matches, languishing in 10th place, and already 9 points adrift of Celtic. For the supporters, patience is worn thin. While the board appear reluctant to pull the trigger just yet, Martin's own words hardly inspire confidence. Asked if he still has the backing of Rangers hierarchy, the 39-year-old offered only a telling. We'll see. That uncertainty has only fueled speculation, and among the names being whispered, one stands head and shoulders above the rest: Steven Gerrard. For many at Rangers, Gerrard's name is synonymous with the resurgence of Rangers. His first spell in charge culminated in the glorious 2021 Premiership title win, ending Celtic's long domestic dominance. It was a season etched into club folklore, proof of a side built on organisation, belief and attacking intent. Gerrard's departure to Aston Villa just months later left a void, and though he later ventured into Saudi Arabia with Al Ettifaq, his managerial journey stalled when he left in January this year. Since then, Gerrard has stepped away from the limelight, choosing family time in the Middle East over the relentless grind of coaching. He admitted earlier this year to Peter Crouch that he was enjoying life away from football, saying, "I don't want to be back in work, mate, no. I'm happy with waking up and being free, doing the family stuff, just being free away from stress. I want to play a round of golf, go down the boozer, and have a couple of beers. Do normal things that you can't do when you're coaching." But if the Ibrox hot seat opens up again, could the lure of Rangers prove too strong to resist? His former player, Greg Stewart, certainly believes so. Stewart, part of Gerrard's title-winning squad, has been vocal in backing a sensational return. "Bringing Steven back is an absolute no-brainer for me," he insisted. 100% go get him. I'm ready to phone him myself. There's one thing you'll see again with a Steven Gerrard team, a style that makes us hard to beat and allows us to score goals. For Stewart, the contrast with the current state of affairs couldn't be starker. Right now, it looks like there's no alignment at the club, from the players to the staff and from the dressing room up to the board. It's so hard to watch. I watch all the games and it just ruins my weekend. That's how I still feel about it. The feeling among supporters is no different. Rangers fans crave identity, structure and belief. All qualities Gerrard wants restored to Ibrox. Whether he's ready to step back into the dugout is another matter entirely. But with Martin's position looking increasingly precarious, the possibility of Gerrard's return is no longer just fantasy talk. It's beginning to feel like a very real conversation. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We post all the latest Rangers news every single day, so join our fast growing community so you never miss out. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.